We are getting close to the end of Join the PACS project for Biology 20. This is part 4, Humans and Ecological Balance. So in this part of the project, you really are just going to cover one outcome. It's going to hopefully bring a lot of your thinking back in together and help you get ready for that final product of making an opinion piece. So understanding how people can influence a population living in an ecosystem. I mean, if you haven't realized it yet, but humans had a large impact on gray wolf. And what happened because of that, and how indirectly and directly had they affected Yellowstone National Park's ecosystem? How did they affect elk populations or tree populations or the river? And if you watch that video, which I totally recommend, if you haven't watched it yet, head back to part 3, watch how wolves change the rivers. So remember, every workspace has to do with a piece of the project. So there you go right there, humans and ecological balance. There is all of the outcomes that you need to do. And basically, you're just going to do a little bit of looking into how humans have interacted with different parts or different populations or in different ways. So basically each card, this is set up a little different than we've seen before, but each card is going to have you look deeper into how humans can impact and change populations. So the first card is going to have you look in humans and classification. So what are classifications we can give species? Endangered, threatened, there's a whole list of them. I want you to look those things up. Humans and population control is the second piece of evidence. So looking up what is a cull? What is the actual definition of cull? Why do we have them? Who decides? So what government agency or what person goes out and says, hey, let's have a cull? Why does that happen? Then I want you to look at humans and conservation efforts. So that's things like reintroduction or anything where they get in with a threatened population and do any kind of recovery. Maybe a reserve, a population reserve, or the zoo, for goodness sakes. And then humans and biodiversity. So I want you to actually look at what kind of things that we've developed technologically, how does that impact populations? So in that first video we watched with the newsreel, when they talked about in BC, what really was affecting the caribou population, some groups feel that it's oil and gas and forestry and the damaging of habitats in the north. They don't think it's the wolf population. So I want you to look a little bit more into that. And then, of course, guess what you have to come back to? Yellowstone National Park. And I want you also to consider Alberta and British Columbia in there as well. And lastly, again, form that opinion. Start putting that opinion together. You should be able to piece together how you feel about what's happening and have some solid scientific data and evidence to help back that opinion up. So all the resources I put on here, there's nothing official from me that's like a PowerPoint. Everything is just pieces of news or information that might help you complete this part. So, for example, Alberta's government put a fence in to help protect threatened caribou. Then there's the one about the wild horse cull in Alberta, which was just recently. When we look at, is that really what we need to do? Is kill off the wild horse populations? Um, then there's the Alberta cull that happened. Then there's, did it really work in Yellowstone National Park? So some critics, and then an article about why celebrities like to get involved. So why is Miley Cyrus attaching her name to this? Lucky ducks, there is no outcome quiz for this section, but it doesn't mean this section isn't very important in solidifying your opinion and getting ready for that final product.